So this is part 2 of sine compound and cos compound. There's no tan compound in mathematics. I've never seen it. I don't know. When you have sine of a plus b, the sign doesn't change. So the pattern goes sine, cos, cos, sine, a, b, a, b. Sine, cos, cos, sine, a, b, a, b. The sign doesn't change. What about the cos compound? We have cos, cos, sine, sine, a, b, a, b. The sign changes. When you had a plus, it becomes a minus becomes a plus. So let's solve this problem. We have cos of 70 degrees multiplied by cos of 40 plus sine of 70 degrees multiplied by sine of 140 degrees. We are supposed to calculate this without using a calculator, but I am going to use my calculator to verify my answers. So I'm going to put the whole thing into my calculator and see what I get. So we have cos of 70 multiplied by cos of 40 plus sine of 70 multiplied by sine of 140. The answer that I get is 0,866. This decimal is actually square root of 3 over 2. So the answer that I should get should be square root of 3 over 2. This is only for checking whether or not you got your calculations correct. Let's see the pattern that our trig ratios form. We have cos, cos, sine, sine. Now this pattern resembles the pattern of the cos compound. What about the angles? We have 70, 40, 70, 140. Now 140 is an outlier. It doesn't match up with neither 70 or 40. But 70 matches with this one. So we don't need to do anything to this pair of trig ratios. What about these ones? You see, cos of 40 is a smaller angle, but 140 is way too big, so we need to reduce 140. Now what is the angle that is closest to 140 that we normally used to reduce angles? Well, that's 180 degrees. And what happens when you subtract 140 from 180? You get an angle of 40 degrees. Therefore, if you reduce 140 by using 180, you will get an angle of 40 degrees. And 40 matches up with the 40 from this trig ratio. So you will have 70, 40, 70, then 40. So let's do it. We have cos of 70 degrees multiplied by cos of 40 degrees plus sine of 70 degrees multiplied by, so we're going to reduce this. We have sine of 180 degrees minus 40. Now 180 degrees minus 40 is equal to 140, right? So we just found a way to represent 140 in terms of 180, because if we have 180, then we can we can use our cast method to get rid of it and be left with 40. So sine of 180 minus, that's the second quadrant, right? And sine is positive, so we will have cos of 70 multiplied by cos of 40 plus sine of 70 degrees multiplied by sine of 40 degrees. Now let's look at our pattern again. We have cos, cos, sine, sine. So this is a cos compound. We have 70, 40, 70, 40. So this is our A, B, A, B. Now the sign that is between our two trig ratios is a plus, so it needs to change to a minus. So we'll be having cos of 70 degrees minus 40 degrees. Now there's a subtraction sign between two terms that are identical, so you just apply the operation. So we will be having cos of 70 minus 40, that gives you an angle of 30 degrees, right? And we all know that 30 degrees is a special angle, so you're allowed to put this into your calculator. But since we have dealt with special angles before, the correct way is to memorize what each special angle is equal to. But then I'm going to use my calculator because I don't trust my memory like all of you guys. I know I'm not the only one. So cos of 30 degrees is equal to square root of 3 divided by 2. Now I know that this is 100% correct because I have a method of checking. So yeah, this is how you do it. Thank you for watching.